You know it, you feel it when you talk to people. You're not picking up the cues. Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. Now, the other question you asked me was about detecting deception. Like, how do you know if people are lying? I mean, you can. Everybody's got that. Everybody has a radar of deception. You know it, you feel it when you talk to people. The problem is, because sometimes you can't articulate it in your head. Why don't I like this person? Why does this feel off? You don't listen to it. You don't trust it. And then you're not picking up the cues. Also, a lot of times the people that betray us and it's not even good people lie. Like, it's not always, just sometimes people lie because they don't want to share a lot. They don't want you to know too much about them. So sometimes people do that not to deceive, but they're just like, I don't want you to know all of me, which is fine. But with detecting deception, it's understanding that person and their baseline. So you just have to talk to people, figure out like who they are when they're in a kind of a normal, relaxed state. And then what you do is organically, you start to see shifts as you're speaking to them about specific things and what's happening. That's like the 10,000 foot version. There's a lot more to it in detecting deception, but why we're bad at it is because we're so invested in the outcome of something. So if I want something to really work out with a business partner, I'm going to ignore all the cues or the red flags because it's not to my benefit. So I choose to say, I didn't see that, or I let it go. That's why after the fact, when you have a falling out with someone or something happens, what do? You know what? It was there. Mm-hmm. This happened, that happened, because now you're more objective and you're not seeing it through those kind of rose-colored glasses. It's really like in the most simplest of forms.
So that's similar to a relationship then. You often put up with your partner until it's over. And
because
then
you're
look
invested.
Back and you go, I wish I'd have noticed all the red flags that were there, but you choose not to see them.
It's actually a really classic example for people because you have a partner, you're invested in the relationship, you want it to work. And so you choose to you let that piece go, you let that little piece go. And sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it because it's to your benefit. You want the relationship to work. The thing is though, when you miss all that stuff and it happens continuously, what does it do? It compounds, it compounds, it compounds. And then you look 5 years later, you're like, why did I?
It's funny you say that because we were having a conversation before this, and I feel like I'm quite a people pleaser. Sometimes I don't want to cut people off because I want to give them a second chance. I want them to like me, so I try and give them. Whereas you're quite cold. Like what I'm trying to say is you would find it quite easy to cut someone off if they're not bringing something to your life. Whereas I always try and say, well, that they could, blah, blah, blah. But
it depends on the person again. And I'm not, it's not a cutting off exercise. I think people naturally drift into what matters to them. Mm. Like, I think I'm fortunate to feel like I have a purposeful career, right, that I enjoy and I love. So that takes precedence to quite a few friendships that I would have had. Family and purpose are kind of important to me. And if it's not in line with that, it probably is an easy decision for me. I think life is quite short.
Maybe it's balance too. It's interesting. You said, I want people to like me. Maybe, and that's where the people pleasing comes in because the goal is to be likable. And it's like, who doesn't want to be liked? Nobody. There's nobody that's like, yeah, I want the world to hate me.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at it from, I'm not pursuing likability. I'm pursuing, is this healthy for me? Is there respect? And kind of living in truth too, because sometimes we'll look at people, that person has potential, but that's great.
But if they're not living up to that potential and they're not seeing it through, then
right,
and it's hurting you,
right.
then.
And if you're looking like you should be this way and you should be that way, right? I would like them to be that way, and they're looking at you like, who are you to tell me I should be? I'm fabulous as I am.
Yeah.
As I am,
Can we dig into body language and its importance?
Who's lying to you? Who do we need to assess?
Nobody. No. I just.
You don't think?
I'm curious. I'm curious about lying. Well, I'm curious about whether or not everybody lies.
Everybody lies.
I believe everybody lies.
Everybody lies. Look, 3 primary ways people lie. They just flat out lie to you. It's like, I've made it up from beginning to end. Like, it's just fake all around. The second way is little truth, little lie, little truth, little lie. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like this seesaw thing where you're kind of like, well, he said truth here, but I guess this is a truth here. But that's how, another way. And just the basic way the majority of human beings lie is just lying through omission. I just leave that part out, so I don't feel like I'm lying.
Sleep is the most impactful and natural performance-enhancing tool at our disposal. Without it, my body would simply not be able to recover and repair itself after I go for a run or a workout. It is essential to maintaining and enhancing our well-being. With Whoop, I'm able to track my sleep every single night and how it affects the type of activities I choose to do the following day. Think of sleep as your bank balance. The best thing is that every single day you get the chance to deposit more into the bank so that in the long term, you withdraw in the form of energy expenditure when you need it most. Whoop breaks down sleep so as to take the guesswork out of the equation. Not only do you get guidance each day around how much sleep you need based on your activity that day and what your optimal time to go to bed is, but with Whoop, you get a detailed analysis of the quality of your sleep and what you can do to be improving it. In addition to monitoring your sleep, you'll also get detailed insights into your recovery, stress levels, strain, and feedback on how your lifestyle choices impact each of these metrics. If you are interested in taking control of your health and wellness so that you can excel in all aspects of your life, you have to go and check out Whoop. Go to join.whoop.com/untapped to try Whoop for free for 30 days today.
Most people have empathy, and I don't mean it like in a woo-woo way. I mean it like it's an actual thing. When people have empathy, they are less likely to want to cause harm to another person. In fact, even when you look at just crime, the crime rates, those who commit crime have less empathy because they don't feel bad. So lying's kind of in that same thing. I don't like to lie because I feel bad. Most people.
Would you be able to tell somebody if somebody is less empathetic by their body language? So how important is body language?
No.
We've got into it, but you wouldn't be able to tell if somebody's less empathetic. How important is body language in everything?
The way you judge people based on empathy or lack of empathy is just how they treat you.
Okay.
You will know without a shadow of a doubt where people stand because people show you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this great ancient Greek quote from Odysseus, from Greek mythology. It says, don't listen to your opponent, look at them. It'll tell you everything. And so when I say look at them, it's like, look at just like what they're showing you in their behavior. So body language is good, whereas like, let's say I ask you a specific question and you do something, let's do something silly. Like we're sitting here the whole time like this. I ask you a question about how do you like working with Spencer? And you're like, Evie, that's it. That's all you did.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time you've been sitting a certain way.
Mm.
Just that, you just took a moment to just readjust yourself. So it's almost like, it doesn't mean you're about to lie to me. It just means that there's something there.
Okay.
Or maybe you are about to lie.
That was very interesting. Because if you asked me, I was about to go.
Hang on a sec.
Right.
But it's a very simple thing. All you have to do is just be like, why did he just do that? That's it. And so if I'm good at what I do, all I'm going to do is probe further.